Hello, welcome, my lovely listeners. I have so many topics and subjects to talk about, and also I don't really know which one to choose. I have lots of reflections last week, and I have done yesterday. I went for a really long walk I love walks and I love reflecting, and it clears my head every time I walk. But also today I'm a little bit spent and I am reminiscing the walk. It was just so lovely to see all the views. I walk up on the cliffs and I've seen open sea, and I went through mud. I almost fall down, and I have wounded my hands just holding onto some thorns because I didn't want to fall into the mud. And then I climbed some hills and was all by myself in big open meadows and fields, just me and the sheep. And then I lost my way when I was walking, so I had to retrace back, and my knee hurted, and the sun was amazing. The weather was so beautiful, and there were some animals on the way and beaches, and I sat down and had my picnic and my food. And then at the very end of the walk, when I was waiting for the train and it was dark already, I was looking at the sky in front of me, which went all the way to the sea, and I could see that there's some thunderstorms. I've never seen the thunderstorms and the lightnings going instead of from the air to the earth. They were going up from the earth to the air, so kind of the other way, the other direction. And it was like I was all by myself at the train platform, and it was just like it was a show for me. All those lightnings, it was far away in the distance, but there wasn't anyone I could say, oh, can you look at this, that's so amazing. And I just felt like world had this made for me, this show, and I was so grateful. And I was sitting there and all the birds were singing, and my reflection was about the fact that if people were doing more walks like that in nature, in the beauty of nature, and just immerse themselves and be tired and had to go through mud and said hello to other people passing by and saw the beauty of the world from up there. I just did a walk like this for several hours. If everyone was doing this more, I think that there would be just good people on earth, because it's not possible to not be a good person and enjoy a walk like this. And it's not about saying, oh, I am such a good person, I am amazing and always do good deeds. It's not about that, but it's just about connecting to your soul, about reflecting on yourself. And I think these reflections, this connecting, makes you more connected to the world, makes you more connected to yourself and center in yourself. And also the travels, the walking is like life. There are highs and there are lows. You're going up and you're going down, and you don't know what's going to happen. You have the journey outlined, but you maybe haven't been through this part before, and you don't know who you're going to meet, and you don't know where you're gonna stop, and you don't know when you're gonna be tired. You know you're going to be tired. You are going to be tired, but you're also going to be elevated and happy, and you're going to see amazing things on the way. And for me, although this journey was alone, I like walking by myself, and I guess I don't really have people who in my life, or who for whom that walking like this is equally important as, I don't know, maybe working on or going on like proper holidays, or, you know, meeting with friends or meeting with family. And now the spring came and warmer months, I intend to do walks like this more, because for me there is something in there is something so transcendental, there is something so spiritual, and being with myself, I just enjoy it very much. And this is different to as if I was walking with someone. I guess whenever I take someone for a walk, I always want them to enjoy. I want them to feel the same feelings and similar reflections to what I am feeling, and that's obviously not possible. They are feeling their own feelings and their own reflections. And what I was thinking during this walk is about how walk like this reminds me of life, and how beautiful this walk ended. And it was night, the sky was dark, the sun has set up, and I had this amazing display of lightnings and thunders in the distance, and also the birds were singing above my head, and I was sitting in a little like a hut, not a hut, but like a little bench on the platform waiting for the train. It's this very small train station, the tiniest one in the middle of nowhere almost. And I walk all the way there with a road that had no pavement. And I've seen some houses and how people live, and I always think they live such a different lives. They live in such a beautiful locations. They hear birds every day. How do they feel? Do they appreciate that they can go to the fields like that, and they have seaside just 20 minutes or half an hour walk, and they have animals and sheep so close, and there's quietness that is not in the city. How is it to live like this? And obviously for them is normality, and like our lives are so different but also so similar, and we live so separately, but we also part of one. I can feel this oneness, for example, when I look into animals' eyes, when I look into pets or dogs that I met on the way, and I feel I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. And I see that the dogs or the sheep that were looking at me, they really sort of saw me. They see the soul, and they are so calm. They are so calm, and they are so like they just agree with whatever, and they are just there in this moment. And my reflections was about the fact that I always look, or you may always look for what's next. I'm trying to prepare for the future, and standing there or walking there and being like, this is there, this is the future, this is the moment that I was waiting for, this is the little moment that I always wanted to be in, and this is there, that moment, here, now. Thinking about the future and about what's next day. Tomorrow is Monday, start of the work. I have to do this, I have to fill in these papers, what people will think about me, what else do I need to achieve, am I enough? It always kind of goes to this, or worrying about other people, about your spouse, about your children, about your parents. There is always like a hurricane, like a tornado kind of encircling us over and over and over. And maybe by walking, we can lose this tornado of thoughts. We can recenter. We can see the world, how it passes, how it is in this moment, and we can see the beauty of the world, and we can appreciate it, and we can learn about ourselves as well, of how we react to different things. I've heard this thing on TikTok, I think recently, about that we have triggers, that things that are kind of make us being bothered about something, bring up uncomfortable feelings. Excuse me. But we also have, and I don't remember the exact word they use, the same as triggers but opposite. So things that are making us stop in our steps and marvel and be happy and be so amazed by something. So that's what happened all the way on this walk. I stopped and have been amazed by one thing and another and another. And then another thing I've learned and I reflected was when I was going through this mud, and it was deep, muddy, wet mud, and it was going on for 200 or more meters, and I had to go through this. And now obviously I have walking shoes, but they are just like short walking shoes, and then also I was thinking I would like to go and get some lunch. How I'm gonna go in any place being so muddy? And when I was walking and I was trying different ways, this way or that way, or on the side, but it was hard because there were like thorns, bushes with thorns on both ways. So I was trying to walk sideways, and all the way I was saying, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And it's just such a metaphor of any situation that is like that in life, when it's like thorns, bushes, and mud, just sheer mud, and you don't want to be drowned by this mud, and you are like, when is it going to finish? When is it going to stop? And you kept going and kept going, and at some point I kind of like gave up with one leg. So I was like sacrificing one, and I was like, okay, I have to put this right leg into the mud, like deeper, and I saved the left leg, the left foot, and then it finished. At some point it just finished, and I was so happy when it finished. And it's definitely something that happens with all the situations, like when you are in the bad situation, muddy, and you don't want to get so dirty, and you have to be careful because it's slippery, so you have to be careful that you don't fall down. And also there are thorns on the way, so I was trying to hold on to the thorns, and the thorns kind of went into my hand and scratched me, and it was painful. And then I realized when I came out that it was actually more bloody than I realized when I was walking through it. And I mean, it was nothing, but the blood was still coming out. And I'm sure some of you, or obviously some people, they go through much more treacherous and hard and longer walks when they are much more tired after. For me, this was the experience. This was my experience. And what I'm trying to say is basically go for walks and test yourself. And if you want to go with yourself, and then go with your friends and see how different you feel. There obviously was at points, there was part of me, especially first of all when I go for walks like this, that I am a woman, so being by myself is I get more sometimes worried that I am all by myself. But then I have nature around me, and I can feel the the God, the universe, the spirit, the spiritual world. And I know always feel that I am not by myself. There isn't like loneliness, because I can feel the nature. I can sense the nature. Everything around me is living. And when I pass the houses, I know that there are people in the houses there as well. So I never feel lonely or alone. And also I have dialogues in my head going on, and if I was speaking to myself, or there was this bench, and in England you have benches of memory of, I don't know, probably in other countries as well, but I just started paying more attention to those, because they all have messages, and these are messages about the memory, and to remember people who founded the benches, or the families who founded the benches for those people. And you always have the names of the people and the surnames of them, and it's very often these are couples. So it's a beautiful memory, and I can speak to those people, and I was saying to them, thank you, and I remember you, or I think about you. And I don't know if that's the connection between this world and the after the life world, but I still felt this connection, and this kind of memory of those people, even though I didn't know them. And I felt that they were happy. I felt that I was doing what the family wanted, and this connection with the spiritual world. So I'm never alone on those walks. And I talk to myself also, as if my higher self was talking to my body self, myself on this earth. And I come out of those walks, and I am really in a reflective mood, and I also felt like I get to know myself even better. And I am planning a new walk again, because I know that this is the space for me when the reflections come, and when the calmness come, and when the connection between me and the universe and the world, that in the city, because city is so busy, and it's got so many, I guess, electrical waves and buildings and just things that are man-made, and those things, unless you give it to them, so they not often have maybe they don't have a soul as much as nature does. And it's a little bit more difficult for me to connect, and it's definitely, the energy is just so much different, it's so much denser. So I lose it in the city, so I have to go to nature. And I know that everyone say go to nature to connect. So if you didn't hear this call, this is the call. When I started this talking today, I thought I will go about talking about manifesting, because I had quite a few experiencing with significant, although small, things that I have manifested. But the one thing I wanted to say is that when I about the nature and the not necessarily manifesting, but the things showing you that you are on the wrong track, is that when I lost my way, so I was walking, and I always read this, there's this like a tour guide where I should go, and it's written in quite difficult way, so it's like a puzzle. I have to sort of read and guess what do they meant by 30 meters, because either it was 30 meters but it's really like 200 meters, or anyway, I lost my way, and I went into the wrong direction. And when I was walking, it started to be more difficult to walk that way, to the point that at one point there was I just couldn't pass. There was still a path, and it was still marked as a path, but on the kind of middle of the path there was like there was water basically, and I didn't know how deep the water is, and something in me, but by this point, and I walked quite far into the wrong direction, but the water was getting all over. There wasn't a way to kind of go around it or go over it, or I didn't know if I went through it, how deep it was, and also didn't want to take my shoes off and this and that. So by this point, although before there was some water and some mud before I passed through this, because I was determined that that was the right way, and I'm probably going to just come out and detour and go onto the right path. But when I saw this water, and there was like nature was saying, nope, no, you have to go back, you have to go back. So this was a sign. And when I went back, I realized that I actually turned left before the time that I was supposed to turn left. So that was the wrong way, and that was the nature showing me, you cannot go there, this is the wrong direction, you have to go back. And I believe that, and I believe in those signs, because if it wasn't there, the path after that seemed clear. It was just this water there. I would probably continue. I'm sometimes stubborn like this. So sometimes I need signs, and I didn't really want to go all the way back. But sometimes you need signs, and you have to take those signs as a sign that no, you are in the wrong direction. This is not a direction for you. Like sometimes you have to give up and retrace your steps, and that's okay. And then when you retrace your steps, you will end up on the right way again. The right way for you, the right way that takes you whenever it's supposed to take you. Because actually, I was walking to one place, I was walking to one little town by the sea. But by the time I was in a specific location, it was already it was already getting dark, so I knew I wasn't going to get to that specific location. So I had to take a train from a town before my main town that I wanted to go to. And because I was sitting on this another town on the little train station, I was able to see all the show, the lightning show, which was so amazing. And I had to wait for an hour for the train, but the hour went so quickly because of the show and because of the birds singing. And also I've chatted to some friends like on the WhatsApp or whatever, and the hour went so quickly. It was like the train was there before I even knew it, and I was so entertained, and I wasn't bored or anything like that. I don't even remember when I was last bored, because I can and know how to spend time with myself. So I invite you to spend also time with yourself and not be scared of that. And you know that you are yourself good friend. And when you spend time with yourself, you come with the reflections that otherwise you wouldn't come. And obviously is a very good, it's good to spend the same time with yourself as you spend with your friends. So that's my reflections from this walk, which for some reason made me so emotional. So hopefully you enjoy this little talk, and I speak to you soon. Bye bye.